Welcome back, guys. Tom here. I can barely look at the camera because the sun is so bright, Florida problems. So for today's video, I want to try something a little different, and I'd love to hear from you if this is something you think is directionally correct or if I should skip doing this. But we had an awesome private day at OSW yesterday. I drove a whole bunch with Josh in the purple Z and Farah in the yellow C6. And I had both cars out, both ran really good, the tandems were awesome. Unfortunately, the layout was kind of meh, it's not that it's a bad layout, it's the spring brake bash one everybody loves. It's just we drive that all the time, and I wish we didn't. But regardless, the driving was really good, and I thought this time around for the raw runs footage, I have 15 minutes worth of clips, and I'm just gonna show you all the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I figured this time around I'd narrate it to give you actually some context as to what you're seeing. So like I said, I'd be really curious to read from you in the comments if this is something I should keep doing or if this is just a waste of time. Let me know. Alright, let's go. Fresh off the trailer, time to partay. You can see here, we're taking it easy. Not like super easy, but not exactly doors. Big understeer there on my part. We're getting widened out into the marbles. It's always good to feel out the track, even if it's just a skid pad, because the conditions change a lot. When we started the day, I knew that Josh was on Accelera 5Rs, and I was on 651s that had a couple of laps of mid-pond already on them. So I didn't air down, I think I started him at 22 PSI cold, because I know that his car wasn't overly fast. You can also, if you're listening to the sound of my engine, you can hear here that I'm not trying to run away from him. I'm feathering the throttle a lot, and I'm just trying to run him a wide and smooth lead so that he can practice chasing behind me. Not sure what I did there with the camera edit, that was kind of whack. Sorry about that, but there he is again, coming up on the wall. A little bit of smoke. All good. It's getting a little spicier here on entry. Proximity is about a car width, give or take. So, depending on who you're asking, some people would call this doors. To me, that's like a comfortable chase distance. Especially with this layout, this manche here is really hard to predict. So, I am tending to usually sacrifice in the manche to focus on the hairpins before and after. But this was actually pretty clean. Wasn't half bad. Now we'll see how Josh does it behind me. Oh, that was nice and wide. Quick flick. There he comes. He's still making a lot of steering adjustments. I think that's one of the ways that you can tell a more experienced driver from a newer driver is when they're leading or chasing, doesn't matter. You see how much the front wheels move. That's a pretty good indicator of how comfortable somebody is in the car, and he's definitely getting there. He's a ripper. I would say probably one of the top 10 guys that I've driven with at OSW, and he's just getting started, right? Okay, Farah finally showed up, so he's out here. Need to bring this up. These first couple runs with him are definitely nothing to write home about. One thing you have to keep in mind, though, is that he had that car apart literally 2 days prior to this private day. He put a whole bunch of work into the motor, he did cams and a camshaft and a tune and a new balancer or whatever. So he did a whole bunch of work to it. He also put a new clutch in it. And the first couple laps that we were out, in between runs, he actually had to go back and adjust his clutch pedal, make sure that that thing's actually working. Later in the day, he also messed with his e-brake. But as it sits right now, this is a pretty good run. Nothing to complain. Here you'll see how he was really late to gain angle, and then he straightens there, which shut me down. That's what I was mentioning earlier. He had the whole rear end out of that car, and I guess he forgot to bleed his hydro, so his e-brake wasn't working. So in that one spot, when he tried to actually e-brake, it didn't do much of anything. Here we have another Z. I'm terrible with names, so please excuse my ignorance, but I have no clue who that is. I know that I've driven with him before, and his car, as you can see, is really slow, and I have to torture the Mustang behind him. And that's not like a stab at somebody, you know, it's like he's obviously on party tires. And since Farah was out, that was the first run I actually started airing down the tires. So the Mustang really has to put in a lot of work to keep it friendly with that Z. But we'll see how this run plays out. Yep, I think that might have been where he realized his hider wasn't it, because that was not a very Farah-like initiation. So slow the angle. But yeah, here he is on Candace. I am on 14 psi hot 651s, and as you can see, that's pretty much what it takes to keep up with the C6. Like, C6 are arguably the best drift car, period. And so for the big fat Mustang that I'm trying to sling around here, I want to say a 600-pound disadvantage to that Corvette. Same exact power, very similar engine characteristics between the two. So I have to get all the grip I can out of the car when I'm running with Farah, because otherwise it's just time for gap sauce. Farah did me a really big favor yesterday in the sense that he didn't really have any good tires on him. All his tires were used, and obviously Kendas aren't exactly fast to begin with, and these were pretty much done. So that made for some pretty even match tandems all day, and not complaining about that at all. Let's see if I can manage to get a decent initiation. Yeah, I didn't lollygag too much on this. Like, throttle commitment was obviously not good because I should have been within that proximity I got towards the end of turn 1 right at initiation. But here a little left foot brake to stay on the line behind him. Even the Manji is fairly decent. Here I'm waiting for him to gain angle before I suck up on him. And as you can see, that there was a moment of pretty good proximity, you know, like, to me, this is the kind of stuff, like what you saw in this run, when it's like half car proximity, that's what I consider good proximity for like practice days, you know? You're not hurting anything, you're not putting any dents in cars. It looks cool for spectators. The ride-along guys always get super hype, you know, because with all the adrenaline clouding their judgments, they're all thinking that, oh my god, this is so tight, when in reality it's half a car, which isn't really tight. But I'm not sure what excuse I can come up with for Farah there. I think he just fucked that up. Still though, not bad. Not bad at all. And we're turning it around again. Yeah, that was better. I should have stayed on throttle there, and I could have kept the car like this through the turn. But you know, we all make mistakes. This is pretty decent here. Yeah, I decided to do a little left foot brake there too, as you can see, but that's one of the challenges with the Mustang, again, is that the brakes on these cars, like, you can tell that they really wanted the GT Mustangs to be competent on road courses. Boop. And so the brakes are just violent, you know? Their tip of the toe is all it takes to lock them. And Blue comes out. So here we have Farah chasing Blue. It was really fun to go back to Blue after driving the Mustang. We'll see if he pokes. Yep, there he is. There's Farah poking through the window. Good job, boy. Blue is... I can drive that car blind. That thing's just the best car I've ever owned. And it just goes wherever I need it to go. But it took a little bit of adjustment going from scrubbed in 651s to sticker FIs. Especially for the first 2 or 3 laps, FIs just feel like soap, you know. So took a little adjustment, but as you'll see, with Farah being nice enough to run on completely toasted Kendas, I can actually keep up with the C6, and that car is like tuned with a cam. Have to reinitiate here because I didn't want to boop him. That was my bad. But yeah, his car makes like, I forgot, like 380 wheel or something. And of course it's C6, meaning God's chassis, right? So for my little 4-cylinder car on party tires, running that kind of proximity with him, you know, that makes me happy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of proud of that. So now he's behind me again. Wow, that initiation, I like that. Did you see how quickly the car got to angle? Just snap and boom. And also, if you look at the steering in Blue, even though this camera angle isn't very good for seeing car-on-car action, I think it's fun to watch how little it takes to drive that car. Like, looks like I'm out for a cruise, you know, like it's basically no steering corrections to speak of. It's minute at best. And if I had more grippy tires on it, it'd be even less actually. But yeah, blue is just my favorite car ever. 250 horsepower, and look at this fun. I mean, this is just so good. Like, yeah, you can't see his tire anymore. That means we got close. Little e-brake drag. Blue is the opposite in pretty much every aspect of the Mustang. No power, no torque, no brakes, but it actually does self-steer, so it's literally polar opposites. And going back and forth between these two is pretty fun. Catching your buddy spin. Could have done without that, but hey. And now we're driving blue with the camera on the front, and that was the second half of the day. So Josh joined us, and I think you'll like some of these footage coming up because, man, we had a really good time. Like, the cars really synced up together so nicely. Here, as you can see, based on the smoke trail, those are not Kendas anymore. I'm pretty sure those are Vitors, and obviously he's putting a bus between him and Josh. But as the tires wore down, we'll manage to fix that. You know, he's also on super high tire pressure here. It's like 30 psi because those Vitors are no joke. Let's see how he comes in behind us. Keeping it respectful. There we go. 3 deep. The line isn't matched very well, but it's still, look at this. Now we're talking. Yeah, that was good work. Keeping it respectful, keeping it half a car. Very, very nice. Even through the Manji, there isn't overly much separation. And let's see if I can... Yeah, that was the run where I thought he was going to go into the weeds. We used all the skid pad for that one. But yeah, this is nice, isn't it? I mean, that's good. That's good. That's good fun. Good fun with your buddies. Now there's my turn leading. And people that drive with me, I'm not sounding braggy or anything. I feel like everybody that has driven with me will pretty much agree on this, is I'm pretty much known for running super smooth leads, and people always love chasing me because they know that my car spinning is practically not happening. It's like once every 5 years or so. And I usually run a pretty nice lead line for guys, so I've never had anyone complain about chasing me. Let's put it that way. Oh, I remember what's happening here. This is going to be a pretty short clip. You'll see. Starting to get decent proximity, and then, of course, I'm staring at Farah's front, and I notice this is not gonna work. And there's Josh thanking us for not smashing him to bits. It's all good, buddy. It happens. So now Farah is gonna try to eat my door, and yeah, that's the half car again, you know? I think that should be the goal for party days. It's not a comp. There's nothing to win here other than seat time and experience. Keep it respectful. Half a car is really good proximity for practice runs. And if you can maintain that, I think you're on the right track. I would much rather see footage like this of the chase being half car to a car behind than having a gap, then the guy cuts the line into thirds, dents your door, and then backs off again, and you just surge in just to leave a mark, and it's like, oh man, we ran tight. It's like, yeah, did you though? Did you really? Because no, you did not. So I feel like this is really good clean practice, and it's funny because now we're approaching golden hour, and of course Farah is on the smoke show tires. You'll notice that these next couple runs when he's leading, you got to keep in mind that my eye level is lower than the camera. You're basically blind behind him through the Manchi, so visibility was not good. This looks like it's just Josh and me. Nope, there he is. I remember at some point Farah had to cool down his car, but I guess it wasn't this run. But yeah, we're pretty stacked again here. I mean, that's not bad. I screwed that up big time. I'm not sure what I did there. I think I went for an e-brake drag when I should have done clutch action there. That was not nice, but managed to reel him back in pretty decent. I think this is where we get a pretty nice shot across the finish. Yeah, that's not bad. It's pretty good. I like that. Let's see if Farah is still back there. I guess not, because we would have rotated positions. So yeah, I think that's the lap where we let Farah cool his rig off. Also, the transition here, in the car, if you ask the people that ride along, they would swear that a transition like that, you're like, oh my god, you almost took his bumper off. In reality, again, it's half a car, but half a car, like I said, I'm probably sounding like a broken record on here, but to me, that's really the target. Half a car is good. Keep it half a car. In case you do crash, you're not hurting anything because you're close enough to not have any delta speed. And in case you don't crash, you're getting nice tight tandems that actually look good. So, oh yeah, I guess. Oh man, now I remember. Yeah, Farah is gonna skip this one too. And you can see that Josh is getting more and more comfortable. And Blue is a hell of a car to chase because you wouldn't believe it, but that four-cylinder car is fast as fuck, boy. Like, takes quite a bit of commitment to keep up with this car. And you can see he was smart on his transition to, like, reel me in again. And here's the last run with Farah. Uh, you'll find out real quick why it's the last one. Don't worry, nothing got hurt. And we actually had a decent run up until the point it wasn't. And we got lucky too, because right around now, yep, right here is when my visibility goes to shit. And as he transitions, I'm deciding on whether to dive, and I did not, thankfully, because that's where his crank pulley bolt left the chat and left him stranded with no power steering. Bye, Farah. Good day.